On to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the match preview for our next game, Everton versus Brentford this weekend. I'm joined by Stephen Hornby. Warm welcome back to the Toffee Blues for Steve after a couple of years away. I think it's great to have you back on, mate. We're going to obviously be looking ahead to our next game against Brentford back at Goodison. A very important game, as is every game now, I think, towards the end of the season. Yes, how are you feeling? Obviously, we're going into this one. We haven't won in 3 games now. It's 2 wins out of 6, I think, for Sean Dyche since he started as manager. How are you feeling going into this one, Steve?
Well, to be honest, James, it's like, I think after Arsenal and Leeds, however, the performances weren't fantastic and we got the points. But afterwards, I was thinking, oh yeah, there's a bit of steel, there's something a bit extra in this Everton team under Dyche. And then the Villa game and the Forest game completely knocked that optimism out of me. I think the Villa game, we come out second half. It was 0-0 at half time, I think, if I remember rightly. And we went 1-0 down with that Ollie Watkins pen. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's change it. Let's try and nick a goal. It was the first time we'd been 1-0 down at home under Dyche like that. And it was like, obviously Liverpool away, that was a different thing altogether. I think after the Liverpool game, I felt like they were probably lucky to get their goals. When Villa went 1-0 up, I thought, all right, let's have a go. Let's. I know obviously we're not blessed with striking options, but he didn't change the formation. He didn't, move any and try and nick a point out of it or anything like that. And that really got to me, and I thought, oh, we might be in a bit of trouble here. And then Forest, the thing what annoyed me about Forest was, it was we were when we went 2-1 up. I thought, okay, yeah, this is nice. This is nice for an Everton team to be sort of in charge of the game and having that sort of impetus that we'll go a goal ahead. It's your responsibility to catch us, which is never the case with Everton away from home, is it? It's always we'll always seem to be on the back foot every time we're away from home. With 15 minutes left, 2-1 up against the team, probably one of the only sides in the league that are as bad as us, to let a goal in there is just absolutely criminal. There was just too many human errors. I don't think the Forest result was on Dyche, and it's definitely, for me, 2 points dropped rather than a point gain, that one, which it's just completely knocked me confidence for Brentford. To be honest, I was more confident than I was before watching them against Fulham, because after I watched them play Fulham the other night, and they've just got something a bit extra this season, Brentford, for me. I think Thomas Frank's a really good manager. They're doing things the right way, and that's what and they're also, I think they're like 14 games unbeaten now. That just makes me think if they come to Goodison and they nick a goal, it's really going to be panic stations on Saturday.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't think Dyche has put a foot wrong. Well, maybe not everything, but he's not done much wrong since he's come in. Because when you consider the state that we're in as a club and the team in such a state of disarray, I think he's done excellently so far. To even, like you say, get us dominating the game away from home. I think that's astonishing. I think he's done excellently. I think back at Goodison, obviously Brentford's are a good side, but I think we can pose a few more issues. I think we saw a bit more of an attacking threat away at Forest than we have done for a couple of games, which I found really encouraging. Obviously, we haven't scored twice in a game for quite a while, so to do that as well is another encouraging sign. I think
I think that's happened to Mari Gray. I think Damari Gray made a big difference by playing against Forest. I think having him up there and just changing that a bit.
it's not ideal having him leading the line, but he definitely offers more than Neil Mopay does. So he's got to play for me, and we might be able to trouble them then.
What I think, and you know what, it sounds rich coming from me complaining about dropping 2 points at Forest when, um, you know, before Dyche was here under the late days of Frank Lampard, I would have bit your hands off for a point there. But it's the way I think, the way that, and I think a lot of it is on the team. I get that. It's just the Villa game. It just sort of sparked something in my mind that was a little bit different in the way that, when we saw us coming out and dominating against Forest, it felt like they just had us at arm's length for that entire second half, and we didn't have any sort of tactical, any sort of switch up to just throw at them and go, all right, we'll put you under the cosh now. Because I feel like when you're down there like we are, when you go 1-0 down at home to Villa, you've got nothing to lose. I wanted to see a bit more in that game. That was obviously our last home game.
But I'll be
But
honest, mate. I don't think that's on the manager though. I think that's a lot of that is on the lack of resources that we've got.
oh, definitely, definitely. And I think Dyche's done, like I'm saying, like since he's come in, he's done a brilliant job. He's done a really solid job. I think, to be honest, it's just more fear than anything. Me being able to go, oh, we got beat 2-0 by Aston Villa. We should have threw ourselves at the game. I understand people being like, well, Dyche is doing the best with what he can. He's got two really important wins against Leeds and Arsenal. But again, it all just does come down to this massive overriding factor, and that's what we're trying to change at the club, isn't it, really? And it doesn't matter who the manager is and who the players are on the pitch. It's always going to be the same as long as the hierarchy stays.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Well, obviously, we're, we're doing what we can in that respect. I think as a fan base, this is as United as I've seen the fan base in terms of getting behind, trying to force those changes. There's obviously for about the fourth or fifth consecutive game now. There's a match. There's a march, sorry, pre-match at
Hmm.
2 o'clock outside the Royal Oak. So obviously, I think everybody, as far as I'm aware, is pretty like united behind the demand for change now because we know this isn't acceptable. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know the state we've got. I think Sean Dyche is a good manager, but it just yeah, he might well have just been left too short in terms of resources. And if that's the case, then it's on the board, and the board should be punished for what they've done.
Of course, and I think it's not even that. It's not even just that resources, and it's like it's the mindset that it comes from. There's a reason we've won once at Anfield in the past 24 years. There's a reason we've won. We never win at the Emirates. There's a reason. I don't think I've ever seen us win at Stamford Bridge in my lifetime. I feel like this mindset, this negative mindset, bleeds down from him all the way down to us as supporters, and you know I think that Villa game sums it up a bit for me as to why we are doing it, because Arsenal and Leeds kept us happy for a bit, those wins. Us going into that game against Villa would have been lovely to get something, but that just showed just how lacking in resources we are, just how lacking as a club in the terms of a never say die attitude, because I think with about 30 minutes left, I think we just rolled over. And I think Forest was the same, going away there and dropping those 2 points at the end there. That just, it does all come down from that. But, Brentford this Saturday, it's going to be really tough. And I think this probably is one of the more winnable games we've got for the rest of the season, being at home. One of the more most optimistic I'm going to feel for the rest of the season. I think it's just a 100% must-win game. If we don't win on Saturday, it's going to get really panicky, because the home games are running out, and I don't know how many more points we'll pick up away from home.
We'll have to wait and see. But I'll be honest, it's not done and dusted, yeah, like by any stretch of the imagination. And I'll be honest, I don't think the players have rolled over as much as you say they have. I think again, I think it's just we are other teams are troubling us more because they know that we haven't got any questions to ask of them. We are
Mm,
trying to attack, and we're going forward better under Dyche, and we seem to be a bit more cohesive, but we just haven't got the finishing. And other teams know that, and other teams grow in confidence the more we spare all the chances that we do create. I think that's
Yeah.
where it comes from, and that's where you see like Villa eventually, found the bodies to get forward and get another goal once they went in front, and same with Forest as well. Like both sides are going to start coming forward, especially Forest as they were getting beat anyway. You were always going to like throw everyone forward, and that's where the problem lies. Is that they're going to break through eventually because they are just taking the chance on the fact that we won't score, and that's a very educated gamble.
Yeah. This is my point though, James, and I know, look, hats off to Sean Dyche. I think he's done a brilliant job so far. I think some of the players who've come back into the team and who've been there all season since he's come in have really covered themselves in a lot of glory. I think a lot of players have played well. But the fact here I'm trying to get across is what was stopping us against Villa from doing something like Forest did to us on Sunday. Just throwing ourselves at it. And again, it
Um,
just comes down to the resources.
it's Neil Mopay up front. That's where the problem comes
Yeah.
from. Say quite literally throw yourself at it. Neil Mopay should have quite literally threw himself at that free header and powered it over the line. Tyrone Mings cleared off the line from him against Villa about 10 minutes before their penalty. He could have gone 1-0 up, but he wasn't brave enough to throw himself at a header. And I think that's where,
Yeah.
like, Neil Mopay was rightly dropped, I think, and I think we saw a bit more of an attacking prowess, at least against Forest, that gives me a bit
Mm.
more hope going into the Brentford game that we can trouble them as much as they, I think, can trouble us.
Definitely. I think that was one of Iwobi's better games on the right against Forest. He was getting the ball in the box a bit more, and obviously Decore got a goal. It was good to see him get a goal because he has been playing really well. Um, I think it was the right decision to bring Ben Godfrey back in. I like the way how he did make those changes against Forest. It's just again it comes down to the players. I think Dyche is doing a
Quality is
brilliant.
just not a high enough caliber.
That's what I mean. You can bring in. I think our fan base can be a bit fickle at times where a player can be dropped because they're not playing well. 5 or 6 games, another player can come in and they don't play well, and then everyone's like, "Bring this player back in." Who's the player who was dropped in the first place?
I
That
think a good
that can happen
example,
quite often.
best example of that state is obviously Michael Keane's been coming back in. There was a lot of clamour to drop Connor Cody on. He did play poorly against Aston Villa,
Yeah.
but since then, Keane's come in and we've chipped 6 goals, and obviously 4 of them against Arsenal, but 2 against Forest as well. I think like we looked a lot more defensively stable, even in the Merseyside derby against the Liverpool side, who were far better than Forest.
Mm.
We looked a lot
You
more
get
solid without. I think Michael Keane makes me nervous being in that
you get
defence.
a lot with and you get a lot with the stupid put Holgate in midfield shouts, don't you? Like
That was
if
another
he
one.
got if he got if he got a look in this Everton side, he'd get probably 90 minutes before he'd just crumble under the pressure, I think.
If I think if he played as much as you're saying there, we could well be relegated already. To be honest
Yeah,
with you, if
anyway,
you ask me.
to be honest, James, I'm just to answer the first question you gave me, I'm not too confident, but I don't want to sound too much of a downer. I think we get off too much on bad news, don't we, and bad vibes. So
Yeah,
I
of
think,
course, but
let's go into it on Saturday and let's just have that that forward momentum. Let's get the opening goal and let's just play proper football. Let's play proper Everton football like we did against Arsenal.
no
And
messing, even just honest football, no messing.
that's all we want. That's all we ask for. All we need right now is points. Doesn't matter how we get them.
Yeah, win at all costs, in it. Just that's all it is.
Yeah,
And you talk about the form momentum. Let's get as many fans as well to turn up to this march as well
yeah,
um on at 2 o'clock outside the
yeah.
Royal Oak because, as we've said on many an occasion in this show alone, it's the people who are protesting against you've landed in this mess where we haven't got the resources to deliver the goods. So that's got to
Yeah.
change, and let's really make a stand on that and really make a stand for the team afterwards straight away, get in the ground and then get behind the team.
I mean,
It is
yeah,
possible to do both, and let's really
it
let's do both
is.
with a lot of fire and a lot of passion, and hopefully the team's performance reflects it.
Yeah, I mean we've been able to do both before, you know, and I like Sean Dyche's his mentality towards it is that he thinks that he knows that his job is to get the team performing on the pitch, and he doesn't want to comment on the politics of it all, which I like.
Fair play to him. Yeah, that's right.
But if I had to convince anyone to stand up and do something about it, all I'd say was, I've been to every march so far, and I don't regret a minute of it.
Me neither.
So it just do it
Yeah.
because it, it's not just for people like me and you. It's for people younger than us and people younger than that.
People older than
We
us as well who still haven't seen us win nothing.
yeah, we won't be rid of this fella unless we actually do something about it. And get in there, get hold of a banner, get yourself in front of a camera, stand up for your club. That's
Stand
all
up for
I'll
your club.
say.
That's exactly what it is. Stand up for your club, and then do the same. Stand up for your team when you get in the stadium,
Yeah,
and really like
that's it. That's it. And
make a bit of
that's
noise,
what
and
we did
let's
last season. That's what we did last season on the pitch, and now we're doing it off the
yeah,
pitch.
and let's try and lift the players in the stadium as well, and hopefully
Yeah,
get a result.
definitely.
Um,
Definitely, because I think there's too much negativity in the stadium once that things start going not as planned. I think there's enough talent in that team to
well,
to get us a win on Saturday, but we need to get it out of them.
got to drag them over the line as we did last
Yeah.
year, like you say. Just before we're going to wrap up, but just before we finish, what's the prediction?
Um, I'm gonna go for 1-0. I'm gonna go for that
It's
magical
always
scoreline.
it's
It's
always
one as
going to be a scrappy
yeah.
1-0 with Everton, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm,
I'm
I'm
gonna go
going
for 1-0. I'm gonna go for the Damari Gray penalty. I reckon we're gonna get a penalty at Goodison. I just got a
to
feeling.
come on. But you must have like you must be on drugs, right? Where have you got that
I
idea
know.
from?
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna go with
too much
I'm gonna go with
in them slow bombs.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go for the 2-1 win. Again, it's gonna be a close call, and whenever we do win, we never do it the easy way. So let's be honest, it's gonna be a
Yeah,
1-goal margin if we do win. So I'll go with 2-1.
yeah,
But there you have it, guys. We'll wrap up there. Let us know your opinions. Everyone who's tuned in, let us know your predictions and how you're feeling going into the game. Get your comments coming in. Drop us a comment. Give us a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, guys, we'll see you soon on the Toffee Blues. Thanks for watching.